Okay, so today I'm gonna be reacting to Brad and Light reacting to one of I think her name's Sorostis' video, which is like, why does Nod-Krai feel like Genshin? Obviously, both of their videos will be linked in the description. I do want to say I've already watched a minute and 30 seconds of this, and that's when I was like, you know what, I'll make this into a video because I have some thoughts. I have some things that maybe might make people mad. I'm like, you know what, let's make that into a video. So let's get straight into this. So why does Nod-Krai feel like Genshin again?
Uploaded a new video called "Why Does Nod-Krai Feel Like Genshin?"
Well, I
I
have
feel
watched
like a lot of the
some people react to Sorostis video before. I think it was like Tectone. I think I watched as well.
player base felt like Genshin lost a lot of its identity when it started going into certain other regions. The only reason that I can think of for this is that
I'll say the same things, by the way, as I said to myself during when I was watching
people really like the high fantasy or medieval fantasy aspect of Mondstadt and the way that the game started, you know, dragons and magic and stuff. And
I said one of my one of my favorite things is like, yeah, medieval fantasy like adventure. Like I don't know why like I love Konosuba. I love Frieren. It's just those type of like animes that just hook me. I don't know why. I think it's because like if I were if I was supposed to be like isekai into a world I get to choose, it would be Konosuba. I will be honest. I probably would go into Konosuba. But it's just the medieval fantasy vibe. Just like yeah, really like it just vibes with me, bro. I love it. Let me know let me know if you guys like that as well. But it just hits me, bro. And the thing is, but the thing is, like, I also love like cities, and obviously my favorite game of all time is City Skylines. I like everything. I think.
only over time we've been getting introduced to more and more things in the game, like tech, high-tech stuff, freaking motorbikes and dragon tech.
I will be honest. I still feel like I was doing Mavrika's trial the other day, and I was looking at the tires. I'm like, what would the tires even be made from in this world? I was just looking at them. I'm like, what would they? What are they made from? Like, do we know what the tires are made from? I was just looking at them like, huh.
And things that kind of take you out of that medieval fantasy.
I think the dragon tag is cool.
Realm. I personally am not against it. I actually really like that kind of stuff as well. But I am the biggest
sci-fi high
sucker
tech
in the
cool
world
well.
when it comes to medieval fantasy. It's my favorite thing. So I think that's what this video is probably going to go over, and that's my opinion.
I think a lot of sci-fi things are like over the top. I think Star Wars is cool, stuff, but it's like I think some things are like, if you don't know, I think it was this city, you know, the city that was the $6 billion city that was supposed to be built in Africa. You know that. I will be honest, it looks fucking terrible. Like the 3D renders, I thought looked fucking horrid. Like that is sci-fi I don't want. That is high-tech sci-fi shit that I just, or like high-tech things I just don't want because it looks ugly as fuck. Like it's too much, too many curves, too many swerves, too many fucking dance. Like the fucking buildings look like they're fucking dancing. Um, like I think like simplistic sci-fi, like I like more.
On it, but let's give more as the video goes on.
Obviously, a bike doesn't. I feel like this still doesn't fit the Genshin world, but I think it's just me. And people say, well, you like the gun, but you hate the bike. I remember someone saying that. No, I'm pretty sure I said the gun is also. That's 100% makes sense. But I mean, we got Scaramouche who can fly, so I mean, I don't know.
Year of Natlan, Nod-Krai's character designs feel like a return to Genshin. While many people loved the Natlan cast, most would.
What did you all think about the
Half the
Natlan cast,
characters
by the way, in
frickin'
terms of designs?
Glow.
I guess I like.
Oh yeah, this is where I had like a thing. This is pretty much where I got up to in the video. Oh, it was a minute. Okay. I think I want to say my best like and my worst like looking characters. I think my favorite looking character. Let me know what you guys I think. But my one is probably Silali. I think I like Silali the most. Out of everyone in, I was gonna say Nod-Krai. In Natlan, I don't know why. I get Natlan and Nod-Krai, the name of them mixed up all the time. I generally don't know why. I think it's because they both start with N. But let me know what your least favorite is, because mine, you know, I will be honest. out of everyone in Natland, my least favorite is definitely Malvika. I will be honest. I just not a fan. I'm just not a fan of the latex tight outfits. I've never been a fan of. I just don't think it looks great. Like even on real women, it just doesn't look good.
Quite a
Sorry.
few of them.
It looks, kind of looks
that when put
not
into
good.
context,
Full
there's
of
something
design.
about their designs which makes them feel a little out of place, in a way which even
Just-
characters like Skirt
You really
or the
need it
Shades
skin
do
tight.
not. Nod-Krai provides a sharp contrast. The new characters not only look fantastic
My
and full
man.
of personality
Yeah.
and intrigue, but they just
Yeah, she's
Let me know who you guys will be pulling for Nod-Krai, or who do you want to pull for? Like I got like Alice, Pro Varka, probably Doran, probably someone else. There is, I think, someone else. I can't 100% remember. I've only been up for an hour, and I take a while to wake up again.
full of something. Oh my god. Yeah.
feel like Genshin characters, even though they do have an eclectic
He's
mix of
cool.
styles.
They're
But
all
what
cool.
makes a
I
design
like. I think every Nod-Krai character is sick.
feel like it comes from Genshin
Looks
in the
amazing.
first place? What makes
Hmm.
others feel like they
Oh, Sandroide and Sandroide and the Moon Maiden, Columbina. Those are the other two.
don't? And why does it matter? Where did Natlan's designs diverge? And
I will
why does
hopefully
just
be
a
pulling for
glimpse of
those as well.
Nod-Krai make so many of us
If they
so
become
excited?
playable, obviously.
Good
Characters
questions.
are the most important part of a gacha game, and a shared
Yeah.
design language for their appearance
Ooh, actually, you know what? That is a very fair point. I was going to kind of argue that characters are the most important part of a gacha game, but it does make.
I mean,
they're
it's
what-
the reason they make money. I mean, like, I feel like it's like the reason they make money, but I feel like the story enhances the characters as well. I feel like the story is also important for the characters because obviously people care about like the personality of the characters. They really like the personality. They really like this and that. They really like their backstory. They really like how they developed over time and stuff. So I feel like a story definitely like adds to the character a lot more, right? By the way, I think I heard that exact statement from like a different video. I just ripped it.
people need to sell. These companies need to sell the characters to keep the game afloat. So yeah,
Characters
probably
are
is.
the most important part of a gacha game, and a shared design language for their appearance is an essential foundation upon which everything else rests.
True.
A design language is a system of visual
Yeah, like you're not gonna have like Natlan characters, but they originated from Mondstadt. Like that just wouldn't make fucking sense, right?
elements and guidelines which are used to create a consistent and cohesive experience. Even if you've never heard of the concept before, you'll have encountered countless in your life.
Fontaine,
Tech
right?
companies have created famous and rigorously regimented examples, such as Google's material design, but while others are not
Jesus.
so explicitly defined, they are
Bro,
That is
for
very
a
messy.
calendar app, by the way, I gotta put this out there, not sponsored. Notion is one of the best like all-purpose apps for organization you can ever use. It is so good.
It feels like one of those. It literally feels like one of those like ads. Like was it Monday.com? It feels like a Monday.com ad. I get so many of those, bro. Monday.com. What's Monday.com?
Viv
You've never
introduced
heard
me
of
to it, and I've
Monday.com
used it
before?
off and on for certain things in the past. It's really, really
no
good.
less iconic. When you watch an animated movie, you can instantly tell the difference between a cartoon saloon film or a Studio Ghibli one, even
True.
though both studios create absolutely stunning 2D animation. The shapes, the colors, the textures, the movement, all of these things instantly make it obvious which is which.
Yep.
That consistency makes things fit together.
Especially art style, I would say.
When it
Yeah.
comes to video game characters, the biggest benefit of a clear design language
Like I feel like maybe because I was gonna say like Genshin. Like if you look at a character from Genshin, you immediately know it's from Genshin Impact. But I feel like that's just because it's like the most popular gacha game and everyone knows what it is. So don't worry. I feel like that statement doesn't really hold up. I feel like if you look at the ZZZ character, you probably know it's from ZZZ and stuff like that, right?
is that it makes
Woo-wah.
everyone in the game feel like they belong. It's the kind of
But I feel like they do start to blend in after a while.
thing we feel on an instinctive level, which can be hard to even put into words if you don't know what you're looking for. And
I actually think, you know, now that I think back to all of the different nations, I think Fontaine might have had my favorite character designs period in the game. I really, really
Hey.
do.
And where each specific
The
aspect
reason why
can seem
Farida's my
obvious
favorite.
when pointed out in isolation. And
I
one
mean,
important thing
Fontaine
to
characters look
remember is
great.
that this is not a value judgment. A
Yeah.
character who does fit the language can have a design you actively dislike, while one
I
which
still
doesn't
love how he
fit can
just
have a
yoinks
gorgeous
He
appearance,
just
which can
takes
have a design you
his
actively
teeth.
dislike, while one which doesn't fit can have a
It's funny.
gorgeous appearance.
That's
If
true.
a character which I feel sticks out feels like a cohesive part of the world to you, that's fine too. It's subjective, and the different parts of any design language might feel more or less significant to each individual. I studied art and design at college, almost
Nice.
specialized in fashion before
I tried art and design for a while, bro, but there was literally one lesson that really pissed me off to a point, and it was early school as well, dude. But it was like I had to put glue on a piece of paper and then stick the glitter to it. But for some reason, the glitter just wouldn't stick, so it just kept looking like a snail had run over my paper the entire time, and I just got really annoyed with it. And then one time,
That's why you quit. Oh no.
I tried to learn how to draw, and then I just
Wait,
got
is that
into
why you
music
quit?
instead because I was just better at it. I
Oh,
can't
okay,
draw
that
to
makes
save
sense.
my life, dude. It's insane. I
in
wish I
graphic
could.
design,
Hey,
and then
so-
spent years creating clothes and hairstyles for The Sims 4, so this kind of thing always really stands out to me. For some
Fair.
people, it just won't matter as much. Either way, when done right, it all
Hey, I
comes
care
together
about the look of the character. I care, bro. I care massively. If the character doesn't look great, I mean, if I could, obviously I would pull for every character in this game. I think every character looks good in this game. Maybe that's because I'm a host, who knows at this point.
For some
Fair.
people, it just won't matter as much. Either way, when done right, it all comes together to make
Like,
the
I'm very
entire
picky
experience
with that
feel
sort of
so
thing.
much more immersive. When it comes to Genshin, there are a few different layers to this. First, the higher level themes. The setting as a whole is a blend of high
True.
fantasy and steampunk elements with
Exactly.
occasional magitech science fantasy thrown in.
Yeah.
Each region takes inspiration from different real-world aesthetics and adds its own
Yeah.
unique flavor on top of the fantasy, steampunk, and magitech vibes which are common throughout to that.
Definitely.
Many regions even include a couple of divergent takes on their theme, applying slightly different dialects of their design language to different factions which make
Wait, like what? What is this referencing?
each one feel visually
So, I
distinct
would say
without
Subaru.
straying too far from what you'd expect from that
I
region
feel like
in
maybe Subaru with like the pyramids and like the tech in the pyramids, but I don't know.
general.
Okay, never
It
mind.
could
Pretty much
take an
everything.
entire series
Oh.
of videos to talk through all the nuances to Genshin's world design
Yeah.
philosophy, so let's focus on the characters here.
Okay.
Each individual character's design can land anywhere within the diverse space between pure fantasy and pure steampunk. There's tons of scope for creativity within those
I mean, I was looking at Shao. I'm like, I don't know, Shao could be a part of a steampunk world. I feel like Fontaine characters definitely. Like, Fontaine characters could 100% probably all be in like a steampunk type of aesthetic. Maybe make them a little bit more rugged. I feel like you could probably get that, like a teeny bit more. I don't know about that one.
borders.
Yep.
Each region's
Yeah.
characters tend to inhabit a similar region of that space, so they all feel closely related, and they usually embody a specific trope or character ideal which matches their personality and their place in the world. The themes of the world at large and each nation in specific are expressed through the design of the characters.
This is very true. Like, for the most part, you can take a look at a character and instantly know what region they're from, right? Because they take the design elements from real-world topography as well. Topography? Geography? Fucking, you know what I'm trying to say. What the fuck is topography? Isn't that like maps and shit?
Yeah. I was gonna say, it's like, yeah, I was gonna say like contour lines and stuff, yeah.
Take real-world inspiration for not only the nations, but also the characters as well.
And as a result, from a conceptual perspective, they usually feel cohesive.
Yeah.
Second, the signature visuals. Obviously, a large part of a visual style is dictated by the aesthetics provided by the game engine and how they've configured it, and there are some other traits inherent in the anime aesthetic that inspired the game's style, such as the approach to face design, the flamboyant hair with bright pastel colors, and so
Absolutely.
on. But there are other consistent details which Hoyo have clearly decided to stick to on their own. Genshin characters' clothes tend to be built up in lots of layers. Instead of having single garments, they usually have multiple smaller pieces of clothing which are overlapped on top of each other to create
Hey,
the
I'm
overall
just saying, I feel like every Genshin character must spend 10 hours every morning putting on their clothes. Because Jesus Christ. Like, I feel like some games, bro, I'm just looking at the characters, I'm like, bro, how long in the morning do you spend putting that shit on? Or they just sleep in it. I mean,
overall effect.
Yeah, certain characters I wouldn't mind if they only had one garment, if you know what I'm saying. Llama, bro. I mean,
Oh my god, bro.
I'm just putting it out there.
Detached sleeves, for example, are very common, as
hey,
are
true.
multi-layered capes or other long strips of fabric.
Swimsuit skin or
this has
wet?
always felt like a very distinctive stylistic choice, and it greatly contributes to whether any given character feels like...
Hey, Mavrika has one. Mavrika has one piece of clothing. It just covers her whole body.
they fit the world. They
Yeah.
also often have
It's even like Yoimiya and stuff, right? Like Yoimiya as a character having multiple layers on the clothing, like the bandages as well as then the gown. Well, I say gown, the top
bandages
and bottom as well. Even things like hair pieces.
Clothing.
There is a lot of characters that have multiple layers, not only in their characters, but
They're
in their designs
freaking onions,
as well.
bro.
Like, I do think it goes a long way.
Genshin characters are onions confirmed.
It's like off the top of my head, other characters that I can specifically think of, but like Kaya's skin as well is one that I think really shines from having the multiple layers on the design and multiple different design choices. Ooh, Mawika, she doesn't have that. Well, I'm sure there's a lot of characters that don't.
extensive ornamentation.
I mean, not every character.
Navia, you're so right, bro. Navia is one of my favorite design characters in general.
Like embedded or other special
Jesus
objects
Christ.
or trinkets unique to each character. Clothes often have
That was me.
bold color choices or beautiful printed fabric. Hair tends to be pastel colored, again with multiple layers and flashy ornamentation, and
Indeed.
it's often split into
But yeah,
in
there's
some
usually,
way.
like,
And
2 or
of
3
course,
colours
there's a very strong trend of
in the
balanced asymmetry, where the different elements of the outfit are asymmetrical, but their distribution provides an overall sense of balance in spite of their lack of symmetry.
Oh, I feel like everything that she's saying here is gonna go to a point when certain Natlan characters just don't abide by these general rules that people have come up with, right? Because as soon as she mentioned that, I just thought of Chaska's design. Which honestly kind of grew on me eventually a little bit. But,
I've kind of fine with Chaska's design. I will be honest. I feel like with a lot of things, with a lot of things, like I am very easy to please, but I am also very, very picky when it comes to anime character designs. But I don't know why I like every Genshin character design. And every Woo-Wot character design. I don't know why. I think. Oh no, it's not design. It's art style. I'm picky with actually thinking about it. If it's like yeah, don't worry. For me, it's art style I'm picky with. If there's an art style I really like, I think everything from it I'll like. No matter how polarizing it is, to be honest. Yeah, it's art style I'm picky with, don't worry. I forgot what I'm picky with, bro.
But their distribution provides an overall sense of balance in spite of their lack of symmetry.
Yeah.
And third, the movement and expression. Genshin's character movements strike a balance between realism and
this event, bro.
unrealism. Most characters are graceful, and the fluidity of every movement is emphasized by the flowing layers of fabric. They are
Is it bad to kind of just want a character that is not graceful at all, though? Like, I kind of just want a dumb...
Ito? Is Ito graceful? I feel like Ito's pure brute force.
fuck that like swings a fucking massive ass greatsword that's far too heavy for them and like launches it into the ground and then struggles to pull it out, but that's also another attack, you know? Razor doesn't really do that though, right? I mean, a lot of the Claymore characters have like quite similar,
has like
if
control.
not the same, animations for a
I
little bit.
guess Ito has control over his weapon. I guess that's what. That's what she means. Oh, like they have control over their weapon and stuff. Yeah, okay, don't worry. Ito has, I feel like, control.
Sayu but male. Does Sayu do that though? Does Sayu do that kind of stuff? I mean, I don't know. I'd have to take a look.
They are rarely exaggerated or cartoonish. The animation avoids the approach
Kave does get hurt when doing a plunge attack. That is funny. True.
common
Wait,
to
he
anime
does?
where the
Oh my god, I've actually never used Kave in my life. Wait, he does? That's actually fine.
characters are transformed into chibi form whenever they express emotion, and instead their expressions are restrained and as close to realism as possible given their stylized faces.
Yeah,
Each
I agree
character's
with that.
combat animations are unique, and they further express their personality
Ito's close.
through the way they move. Oyo have always been a little more flexible here. While most animation in the game respects continuity, in combat they aim to make it look and feel good above all else. So it's pretty common to see characters switching stances in a
Hey, if you want to see my reaction to this event, I started this channel before this happened, so you can see my reaction to this event. Great event. I gotta be honest, I've seen so many, because if you've probably seen, I've been doing shorts of like reacting to like old cutscenes, like old story quest cutscenes and stuff. I'm just watching them, I'm like, bro, I didn't say a single word during the whole cutscene, and I didn't say a single word after. I'm just like this. Like, obviously in my head I probably liked it, but I was like, bro, I didn't say a single word. I'm like, Jesus Christ. the amount of like at least grown from that.
And feel good above all else. So it's pretty common to see characters switching stances in a single frame to ensure the animation feels snappy and responsive. It's always been interesting to me that even characters where you are not intended to ever use their normal attacks have beautifully crafted attack animations, and the detailed recovery animations in particular have always been a highlight, especially because they strongly evoke their personality. There are, of course, occasionally 1 or 2 characters in each region which buck the trend set by the others from that area.
For sure, yeah, showing Kokomi here as a prime example. But that is true. There's usually like a couple of characters, I'd say, from each nation that don't really embody the nation as much as other characters, for sure. I don't think it's that much of a big thing.
Fischl?
I'd say Fischl's, yeah, I'd say Fischl's probably one of them for Mondstadt, for sure. Kokomi for Inazuma. I'm trying to think for Liyue, bro. I feel like everyone from Liyue kind of looks like they're from Liyue, right? With the clothing and stuff. Trying to think of a character that probably wouldn't.
These outliers feel almost like
I'm struggling to think of the characters. Chiori's from Inazuma. She just stays in Fontaine. I struggle to think of the characters when I'm like put on the spot, bro. So I can't bro. So really like Augusta's attacks. Oh, okay, people talk about leaks. By the way, I haven't looked at any of the Wuwa leaks. I'm waiting for the special program to look at Yuno's attack, sorry. Because if you don't know, I'll be pulling for Yuno. I've been saving for Yuno. I skipped Looper and Frilova for it. I wanted Frilova so bad, but I was like, you know what? No, I want Yuno more. So I'll be pulling for Yuno. Can't wait. She is barely wearing anything. She is so fine.
Hue, which adds a little contrast to the
Shenyun? No, I think Shenyun does.
Overall picture, serving to highlight the uniformity of the rest by way of comparison. But though they stand out from the others from their region somehow, they tend to follow the more general visual language in their own way, and so they still feel like they belong.
Actually, you're right, Yelan. Yelan is probably one of them. True.
Even though they stand out. Genshin's design language is the reason the game can feel so cohesive while including so much.
But when I look at Kokomi, all I can think of is those shorts. They're not even shorts. That's just straight up just underwear.
This design language is the reason the game can feel so cohesive while including so much variety. The moment you look at...
Oh, sorry. Xinyan, not Shenyun.
Oh!
Yes.
I get confused with the name Shenyun and Xinyan. Yeah, I get confused.
Xinyan, yes, you're right. True.
Game can feel so cohesive while including so much variety. The moment you look at a character, you know whether they belong into that, and it's often obvious which region they're from, even from a glance. True. And when someone stands out, there's often a reason for it. That was all pretty theoretical, so let's look at some of the specifics for each nation.
Yeah, I guess like Xinyan is like a more wandering like guitar player. I don't know what you call. I'm tired right now. All right. And yeah, like Kokomi's like lives on like a separate part. He has her own like separate clan stuff. Yeah.
Leading up to why Nalan feels out of place to many. Mondstadt embodies that most stereotypical of fantasy aesthetics, medieval Europe. In some ways, it feels a little more generic than the other regions, but that could just be because of how familiar the medieval fantasy setting is.
Yeah, it's used a lot. Like, I feel like when I see like a medieval, like, because obviously I like city builder games and stuff, when you see like a city builder game, like Manor Lords, I mean, the houses look like, I mean, obviously they're the exact same, right? That could just be... Like, they look like this because, like, it's the medieval Europe, and I mean, there's so much you could do with a medieval Europe house to keep it looking medieval Europe, you know? Because of how familiar the medieval fantasy it's more the surrounding landscape that you could change, really. Has always been.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
The Knights of Favonius are a perfect example of a more specific design language used for a smaller set of characters. They're very cohesive as a group, with a military vibe and a consistent color scheme, despite each one having unique takes on the shared appearance. Mondstadt also has mages, religious figures, and other fantasy stereotypes like a bard or a wild child raised by wolves, all of whom feel part of the same world. Some, like Mona or Fischl, do feel a little more out there than the others.
God damn, dude. Jesus. Yeah, Mona definitely does as well, actually, but I would...
But I guess, like, she more represents Barbeloth than Mondstadt, right? She's supposed to be, like, more astronomy, you know what I mean? like she's supposed to take a lot more after Barbeloth more than Mondstadt, right?
Still look at her and know that she's. I think I'd still look at her and know she's from Mondstadt. I obviously don't know, but off the top of my head, like I wouldn't put her in.
Is she from Mondstadt though? I'm pretty sure she is, right? She's just got taken in as a disciple.
Each for their own reasons, but on the whole, it all fits together. Liyue, of course, is a fantasy interpretation of Chinese culture, and it's here Genshin's character design language feels at its strongest. The clothing often has even longer strips of dangling fabric.
To be honest, you would hope so from a Chinese company. I would hope so.
And there are consistent design details, like that quintessentially Mandarin collar shape. Hairpins and other classic jewellery are another theme, as are clasps for fastenings, and strings and tassels are ever present. Those lust are often bright red, which is clearly inspired by the cultural significance of that colour. The outfits as a whole tend to have a strong contrasting colour combination, and there's a lot of those...
Yeah, but Mona was not from Mondstadt. She came to Mondstadt for a while just for work, maybe. Yeah, but same as Toma's technically from Mondstadt, right? But he doesn't really look like a Mondstadt design. It's where the character is from in-game. Like, where
Wait, so we don't know if she's from Mondstadt?
Like a Mondstadt design.
Right.
Just for work, maybe. Yeah, but same as Toma. Yeah, but Mona was not from Mondstadt. She came to Mondstadt for a while just for work, maybe. Yeah, but same as Toma.
Oh, maybe. So we don't know if she's from Mondstadt or not? Okay.
Technically from Mondstadt, right? But he doesn't really look like a Mondstadt design. It's where the character is from in-game. Like, where they come out typically is typically what they're trying to reference. Like, Toma is living in Inazuma and he looks like an Inazuma character. I think Mona looks like a Mondstadt character. I don't see anyone else in other nations typically wear like witches hats and stuff, right? You could argue Fontaine as well for sure. I don't deny that, but the witches hat just screams Mondstadt to me.
Geometric patterns or
I feel like if there was one spot, I mean she doesn't suit any, like she definitely doesn't suit that land Inazuma, like I feel like Mondstadt is definitely the one.
Prints across large swaths of fabric.
Well, just to try to hex the circle, just put her up there.
Do bring in some extra influences. Overall, Liyue is remarkably cohesive.
Yeah, she just worked in Fontaine actually for the Steambird, right? She just worked there. She wasn't even from Fontaine. That was just something people thought back then.
You bring in some extra influences. Overall,
she did go to Fontaine for a little bit. I forgot about that.
Inazuma takes the high fantasy emphasis over to Japan. Many characters wear clothes which are clearly inspired by kimonos or
Inazuma designs are goated as well, dude.
yukatas, often with their overlong sleeves as
I still love Ayato's design, by the way. People still call me crazy for this. I still think he has one of the coolest male character designs in Genshin to this day. I don't know what it is. He just looks so fucking sophisticated and majestic.
One of the most prominent dangling layers.
Love it.
Several characters have oversized bows on their back, while many have some martial ornamentation, armor, which reflects the warlike state of their nation. The fabric tends to have some areas with bold patterns and prints, with areas of simple plain color. Many characters wear sandals, Kujusaras being the most pronounced. While many of the characters here fit that martial aesthetic, a handful do stand out.
Like, they do the aesthetics of the nations very well, like that's one thing Genshin does very well is when they taking like inspiration from a place like Japan, China, medieval Europe, or like anywhere. Where's Samaria? I forgot. But they do a fucking fantastic job at like doing the designs of the characters justice and the designs of the nations as a whole justice.
Yeah, Ito definitely stands out. Kind of. Like, you'd still look at him and know he's from Inazuma, right? Because of the thing on the back as well.
Because I feel like it's more because he has a polarizing, personality. Like, he's so loud, he's just so brute force, he's so, he's literally brawn over brain. Literally.
But Ito was the first one that I thought of when I was trying to think of Inazuman characters that don't fit the general design narrative of others.
To and Kuki feel like
I feel like it's more personality,
part of that world and fit the
region. Like everyone's a lot more sophisticated. Like Brad said, everyone's personality is a lot more sophisticated, a lot more I forgot what you call it. But Ito is more loud, doesn't care about the rules and stuff. Which definitely makes it break the mold.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And fit the region very well despite their slightly different aesthetic.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But Kokomi looks like a mermaid princess and feels a little out of place when stood next to her compatriots.
100% agree. But God, she looks fucking phenomenal. Kokomi's design, oh my god, dude, it's just so So elegant.
Sumeru, meanwhile, is a fusion of Middle Eastern, South Asian, and North African cultural influences and leans heavily towards fantasy with a sprinkling of magitech. Their clothing tends to be in bold, highly contrasting colors with either no print at all or just some subtle geometric flowers. The fabric looks noticeably lighter and more flowy than in other regions, which...
Absolutely. You know, I'm trying to think of Sumeru characters that don't look like from Sumeru as well, but I'm kind of struggling with this nation, actually.
Fits perfectly with the climate and cultural references of the region. While the fabric itself...
I guess she'll like say one. She might say one and be like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense."
As detailed, the designs still have just
like when I'm on the spot, I cannot think for the life of me of a single Genshin character.
Intricacy as any other region. Instead, the details are cast in gold and silver embellishments woven throughout their designs, which add an eye-catching metallic shine.
Fair.
Another interesting common thread is that Sumeru characters often have either a belt or a waist scarf from which the majority of their random objects or other strips of fabrics hang.
Yes, that is true.
Sumeru has at least 2 distinct subcultures which are emphasized in their characters' designs: the scholars of the city and the warriors of the desert, both of which are instantly recognizable. And Sumeru's most out of place...
But they also go together really well as well. Right. Like, you can put them next to each other, and it's not like they don't suit each other being next to each other.
Character is...
Faruzan. Actually true. I don't know where else I would put her, but yeah.
I guess she's more... I guess Faruzan is like... Because I guess everyone's from like modern times, and then she has like designs from like... It would be like 100 years ago Sumeru. Like, she's like obviously over 100 years old. So I guess that's the design language of Sumeru 100 years ago, right?
She doesn't scream Sumeru, I guess.
Actually my favorite example.
But she still has like the gold and the metallic design elements.
Style doesn't quite fit with the rest, and it makes so much sense. She's from 100 years in the past and hasn't changed her sense of fashion, so the reason she stands out is that she's literally out of place. A perfect example.
It makes perfect sense
Of storytelling through design. Next,
but she also keeps the gold. You know, that still hasn't been taken away from 100 years ago, right?
Which has a Victorian...
Nice.
Was there any others really that don't fit Sumeru though? I don't think so, right? I'm trying to think like off the top of my head. I feel like every character kind of just does. Layla, but I think Layla probably does as well. Wonder is a difficult one, right? Because do you even say they're from Sumeru at that point? I don't know. And even then, I feel like Wanderer's outfit kind of does. It looks like a good crossover between Inazuma and Sumeru at that point. But yeah, I don't know. I'd have to see it to think. Dory definitely. I don't know. Actually, I need to see Dory's design in front of me as well.
No, I think Dory fits the design. I feel like Dory fits like street vendor vibe. I don't know. Is that just me?
To that steampunk streak front and center for the first time.
She looks like, I think, if you see those people who like have like, I think it's like, I don't know what you call it. I'm sorry if I offend anyone. But like they have the flute and then they have like the snake in front, like and stuff. I feel like they have the steak in the pot. I think that's kind of what it reminds me a little bit. I might be completely off the mark there. Also, she reminds me of like a little bit of like Aladdin in a way.
This is easily my favorite region from a design perspective. There are ruffles everywhere, lace, bows, corsets, balls.
God,
it's my favorite region,
good, bro. Look at those layers.
My favorite region as a whole, bro.
Layers of pure hydro, fucking H2O.
Hydro H2O.
He looks so good. It's not even gauge, bro. I could just appreciate a good ass looking dude. That is a good ass looking dude.
He is
layered
hot.
fabrics, fancy hats.
That design, bro. Navia. Oh my god. Holy shit. Navia looks so good, bro.
That's an intricate accessory.
Wish he had less layers, though? Okay, buddy.
With that occasional metallic sheen for the...
You wish Nuvalet would just rip his shirt off. Who knows, bro? Nuvalet could be jacked, you know. Nuvalet is jacked underneath all that clothing, bro. You know it.
Victorian era style combines so well with steampunk that even though there's a diverse range from Fremine's clockwork diver aesthetic to Furina's courtly style, every single character here feels perfectly at home together, with the possible exception of Siegewin, who is very Alice in Wonderland, and Escoffier, who is unfortunately just an ugly mess. Sorry.
Damn.
Really? I feel like Escoffier looks like a Fontanian character. Ugly mess. Do people actually think that? I think she looks pretty good.
I think I feel like, I guess the only person I've heard that also from is Tectone. She gotta be honest. I like her design. Obviously, it's not my favorite out of Fontaine, but
CJ, I could definitely see. Yeah, she's just she looks like cotton candy.
But with obviously an art style, like what I said before, obviously with an art style I love. It's really hard for me to hate the look of a character. Really hard for me to. Like, you have to really fuck up a character for me to hate like a design from a style I like.
Very Alice in Wonderland, and Escoffier, who is unfortunately just an ugly mess. Sorry, coffee fans.
That's crazy. Why is she just an ugly mess?
Escoffier,
also, coffee. Bro, people say she's just wearing an apron and nothing else, and it's like
Escoffier, who is unfortunately.
I don't think that's the case, dude. Like, that's just not the case. She's definitely more revealing,
more like clothing.
She has more revealing aspects. But it's not just an apron, right? Or am I high? Does it not attach to the rest of the damn outfit? Is it not just a dress that looks like an apron? Maybe not. I don't know.
When looked at through this lens, it becomes pretty clear why so many of us felt that Natlan's characters were not only out of place in Teyvat, but also discordant as a group amongst themselves. When it comes to the higher level themes of high fantasy, mixed with steampunk and a dash of magitech, there's very little about them which expresses those ideas from an aesthetic perspective.
Okay,
instead, the only real common thread is that they feel a lot more modern. I had been really excited by the
I mean, you got one character comes to mind of that, and that is Mavuika. She is the most modern, most raced bike racer character. Like, you put Mavuika literally on a friggin' motorbike racetrack, and she fits. Like, which I don't think is a massive good thing. Definitely with how, like, aimed, like, more older Genshin is.
Aspect of seeing Genshin fused with the beautiful aesthetics of those diverse cultures which informed the style of each of Natlan's tribes.
As soon as I saw Silala here, I was like, I'm pulling for her. Like, this is the moment, by the way. This trailer was like, I'm pulling for her. 100%.
But was left disappointed.
I hope.
And worse, not only was that thematic depth no longer there, they took a big step away from the visual styles as well. The
Silala looks great.
Tropes from the rest of the game were often missing from most of the character designs.
See, here's the thing, dude. I feel like a lot of the Natlan characters actually do look great. The thing is, and I think this is probably what's going to be said in this video, maybe, is the only reason I can tell that some of the Natlan characters are Natlan characters.
It's because you know them from Natlan. It's because, yeah, I feel like he's going to say because we know they're from Natlan.
Is because they just don't fit the other region.
Oh, okay. I was going to say the only reason we know is because we know they're there type thing. But
right. It's not that I'd be like, yeah, that looks like a Natlan character. It's more just like, yeah, they...
Gotta be honest, she looks more Sumeru to me. Does that just me? I feel like she could fit Sumeru more than anywhere. I know.
They don't fit in any of the previous regions. Like, they don't look Fontanian, they don't look Inazuman, they gotta be Natlan. Like, I don't know. But
I feel like if you had to choose, I would put her in Sumeru. But I guess the pants don't really fit Sumeru at all. Or the shorts. So maybe not. Don't worry. But there's no, like, stitch lines, and there's stitch lines everywhere. Don't worry. She doesn't fit. I lied.
Still dig the designs themselves. Like, I love Zelona's design, dude. Still to this day, I think it's fucking beautiful. I think she's a stunning character.
And yeah, while most did include at least one of these tropes, each of them used a different one to the others, so even there, they lost all cohesion. And even more, they changed their mind on animation and introduced more cartoonish and exaggerated tropes as well, both in terms of facial expressions and in terms of movement. Morlani looks like she could fit in the world with all her dangling fabric and light pastel colors until you see her very cartoonish attack animations, her exaggerated expressions, and her bizarre...
She does have an inflatable toy.
pufferfish swimsuit idols. Auroron's clothes have layers.
Personally, I don't really have anything against that, especially with idols and stuff. I'd rather have fun, cool idols than boring, just like characters stood there idols. I think that's fine. And in terms of the animations being like exaggerated, I think it makes sense for some characters, right? But again,
I mean, Belani is a very hyper, very extroverted, very excited character. Like, she is. Like, she just wants to party. She wants to have fun. That's all she wants to do.
I'm not saying it makes sense for the regions, but it makes sense for the character. Morlani's quite a happy-go-lucky character. Even Klee has exaggerated, like, bomb throws where she's, like, falling and stuff. I think it's fine. I don't think...
No, that's not exaggerated. She just can't handle the weight of the bombs. She can't handle the bombs she makes. Bro. No. Which is funny.
That's necessarily a big problem, in my opinion. I can see why people would think it is, but not for me.
Expressions and her bizarre puffer.
It's like when, I guess it's like Yao Yao, when like you could tell she's still in training, where she almost stumbles over when she's like doing her basic attacks. Right?
Swimsuit idols. Auroron's clothes have layers, but he literally wears ripped jeans and a hoodie.
Auroran, definitely, I wouldn't look at him and think like, oh, Natlan character from the get-go. But I look at him and think he looks fucking awesome. I love Auroran's design, dude.
Jaska echoes
they're great designs in their own right,
game, but her asymmetry
100%.
is pointedly unbalanced.
Yeah.
Shilonen has dangly clothes as well as multiple layers, but she looks like a DJ wearing denim short shorts.
She doesn't look like a DJ, she is a DJ, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. By the way, I still hate this part of her hair. I will always hate this part of her hair. It just looks so out of place. I hate it. Anyway.
Instead of the renowned smith she's supposed to be. Ressa has
I hate it.
detached
It's just weird.
Yeah.
and some tassels hanging from her belt, but nothing about her aesthetic fits to that. Kinich, Iansun, Aoife, they all feel like they strayed a
Damn, she going in, dude. Oh my god, I can't wait to read these comments later.
little too far away. The only one who, to my taste, really looks and feels like a
Hey, we're on the same page, dude.
Genshin character.
Maybe that's
is
why I like her the
Citlali,
most.
And even she has her weird pillow.
Yeah, guys, she is a DJ, but what she's saying is, the main part of the main thing for Shilonen in the story is not that she's a fucking DJ, right? It's that she's a smith that can craft ancient names and stuff. So she's saying the fact that she looks more like the DJ counterpart rather than the main role that she's playing, which is.
But it's like, if she's not a DJ, if it also doesn't, I mean, she kind of is as well, right? I mean, you see her like on the like. During some events, you see her actually on the DJ thing, I'm pretty sure. But, I feel like her not actually doing anything DJ-like in the story also is like, bro, why is she even a fucking DJ? I feel like she's just a DJ for the sake of being a DJ, like, for the sake of just having a design as a DJ and nothing else. Like, I feel like I'm curious what a blacksmith-looking Shilonen would actually look like.
A smith. Is the thing that she doesn't like, which I think is fine. Her biggest dream is to be a full-time DJ. Bro,
where does that come to in like...
If my biggest dream's to go to space, I'm not going to go to work in an astronaut outfit, you know? Like, I'm just saying, bro, I'm just saying, I get where she's coming from. I don't even necessarily agree, but I get where she's coming from.
I just don't know where a DJ fits in anywhere, but...
their animations. And of course, our rebel biker chick Marika, the worst offender, and I'm particularly sad when comparing what we got in-game to the multiple fantastic outfits she had in several trailers.
Yeah, I agree with this, actually. I am personally...
Where did she... What changed with her? Where did the leather come from? But I guess there's animals into that. Like, what changed, Bobby?
Like, I'm not dead against the outfit designs here. I do...
Hey, she was like, hey... New year, no, new century, new me. New millennia, new me.
Do you think they don't really just fit Natlan as a whole, to be honest? Like, ain't no one going to be wearing a fucking full leather suit in this hot place, right? Or like this, yeah, I don't know. I don't...
And plus, I just don't like leather suits in general. But
I don't feel like 100% they do match the nation. I actually like Malika's design overall. She just, again, doesn't look like a Natlan character. Or especially an Archon, right? At least in my opinion. But she's still very fucking cool. But she's right with what she's saying here.
Citlali, and even she has her weird pillows and some out there animations.
Yep.
And of course, our rebel biker chick Marika, the worst offender, and I'm particularly sad when comparing what we got in-game to the multiple
Yeah, like something like this would be super cool, dude, with like the red, orange, and white kind of flowy outfit and stuff.
Hey! More outfits, Genshin. Stop releasing 4 a fucking year and start releasing 1 billion. Jesus Christ. Like, I think them releasing outfits, I feel like literally the one way that Genshin could fix this, or Hoyoverse could fix this, is adding outfits and like suit and like skins to the game. Like, have this as an outfit option for Malvika that you buy. Like, I think it'll fix everything, like all the design problems. people have.
I think it'd look kind of cool.
Fantastic outfits she had in several trailers, each of which fulfilled all the common themes which had been so wonderful.
Or even the armor here, true.
Consistent up until this point. And again, let me emphasize, this is not a value judgment. I love Auroron, for example, both in terms of character and design, but he does not look like a kind-hearted farm boy who pours his love and attention into his vegetable garden, and he does not feel like he comes from Teyvat at all. I'm even...
Yeah, that's my thing as well. Yeah, he doesn't fit any other nation, but also not Natlan realistically, so it doesn't feel like he comes from Teyvat. But...
maybe he actually doesn't, and there's some unknown lore that we don't get. I don't know.
I do kind of think like the characters don't necessarily need to resemble the utmost part of their personality either, right? That's not really the point. I think that should be, at least for me, driven home. Like, again, I don't think Xilonen needs to carry around a hammer and fucking blacksmith apron and stuff, right? I don't think Aurora needs to wear a fucking Cabbage Patch Farm t-shirt.
I think a skin, having those options, having an outfit that you pay for, having those options would be great.
I don't think
everyone wants multiple skins.
Really. I am the Pyro Archon on it. I kind of like the fact that they're not like that, but I do think the biggest thing to take away from this is the cohesion to each other and the nation as a whole. Like, you do look at a lot of these characters, and it doesn't really just scream Natlan or Teyvat or Genshin. I think that's the biggest thing.
One of the 3 Chaska design enjoyers in the entire world. It's not wrong to love these characters. It's not wrong to like their designs. And it's also not wrong to notice that they just don't fit with anything that came before.
True. I think Kachina's design, to be honest, especially with this little twirly thing, is probably the most Natlan of everything.
Many of us fell in love with Genshin in part because of that magical mix of high fantasy, steampunk, and varied real-world cultural aesthetics, and for years they just kept on putting out fantastic new designs. Sometimes people found that the unique aesthetics of one region didn't quite work for them, but often that just meant that those who came straight after ended up being even more appealing than the ones which came before. Fontaine in particular was my kryptonite, and I just adored every single character from that region. So when Natlan came along and
yeah, Fontaine was that for me, dude. Absolutely. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I felt like Natlan was a expansion that was not entirely, but majority focused around the nation itself and not the characters. And for some people that worked really well, and for some it fell completely flat. I personally... it kind of fell somewhere in the middle for me because I feel like it progressed the main lore of the story further than almost any other nation so far. And we had a lot more lore bombs dropped in Natlan, which I think is a good thing. But at the same...
definitely, I think the biggest one is probably the Broken Sky. Or maybe that's just because it's so polarizing. But yeah, like having the Broken Sky actually break is kind of crazy.
Same time, it does kind of...
and I love how they didn't mention... I love how Mavrika was like, I'll look into it, and then we don't mention it once. Hey, I'm just saying, Mavrika said she would look into it, and she hasn't mentioned it to the Traveler fucking once. Is she either fucking lied, or they just don't want to talk about it? But yeah.
Suck that you don't necessarily...
I guess we also got some stuff about, like, Skirk as well.
Necessarily feel that sense of... like connectivity with the characters or between the characters, right? And it totally makes sense from a story perspective why they don't fit and why they don't connect so much, because they're all part of different tribes. They're not just part of the one nation, they're part of different tribes. They've got themselves to worry about and their own people to worry about. It does make sense. Just trying to kind of explain why it falls flat for some people.
Like, I feel like if you put like Kachina and Xilonen together, like next to each other, I feel like they definitely do like share resemblance. If you put like Aurora and like Somali, I guess they kind of have some resemblance in a way. Like, I feel like if you put the characters like from the tribes they're in, that they show some resemblance.
And I think a big majority of that is most, if not all, of the regions in the game prior to Natlan for the past 4 years have felt like the characters intertwine so well and have such strong relationships, whether it's love or hate, together. Especially, in my opinion, Sumeru with Krumeru, right? And even Fontaine with Nouvelette, even with Risley, who was part of a totally different area altogether, kind of locked up away by himself, but then like Risley and Clarend, and even Nuvi and Clarend, and Nuvi and Siegeween, and Nuvi and... you know what I mean? Like, the large majority of nations before have had very well-knit characters together, and people love that. So I think they just got used to it over the past, like, 4 years, and then Natlan was not what they expected. I think it threw them off guard. I think
definitely I feel like another thing that also threw people off guard, which everyone knows about, everyone knows is that we all thought it would be this war-torn Ash, like, cause that's what I was thinking it was gonna be. I thought it'd be like dark, like more of like a darker aesthetic, not like blood and gore or anything. Not obviously not like that, but like ash, like an ashy landscape, like grey and stuff. That's what I thought that land was gonna look like. I will be honest. Like, like that is what I thought.
That's one of the bigger problems that people have with it, more than likely.
And there's no one place on that land that looks like that. The only place that looks like that closely is the Night Kingdom that we can't go to.
Loved so much, it's natural that many felt that the game was no longer built for.
Wait, for me, I don't really relate to characters from Inazuma though, but it's not even about relating to the characters. You relate more to Natlan characters, that doesn't surprise me, but it's not necessarily about relating to the characters. It's just the fact that they don't feel that connected to each other.
It's natural that many felt that the game was no longer built for us. After all, a major part of what we love was visibly being thrown away. It will have been a factor in why many people gave up.
Characters not interacting, what the fuck? Oh my god. You know, every time I say something, someone's always gotta, they always make it think, I'm not saying that Natlan characters don't interact with each other.
It's the designs that don't interact. Wait, maybe I miss.
What I'm saying is the interactions just don't feel as meaningful as previous nations. They don't really. Some characters do. And I think those are the characters that actually really shine, right? It's like Sitlali, Auroran, especially now with Aoife as well. But then a lot of the interactions between the characters, especially in the main quest, feel like a necessity rather than them interacting out of pure joy and fun. Right? It feels like a necessity. It feels like they're interacting for the greater good of Natlan, not because they want to hang out with each other and interact. At least in my opinion, again, you can...
I think some things, like, we definitely were like... They were hanging out for fun. Definitely, I feel like definitely more Milani. I get Mavwika and Milani mixed up. Milani, Kachina, and I think someone else. They always hanged out for fun. Definitely Milani, Kachina.
You can have a different opinion. That's
like
fine.
besties,
but I'm
bro.
not saying they don't interact. It's just that the interactions are very different.
The game entirely, and it is a major reason I personally stopped spending money to collect every character. Though more on that once it's time for me to write my Natlan retrospective. My only hope was...
Personally, I disagree because we had a whole plot point with saving Kachina, but we move on. And that's fine, you can disagree, but I think that actually kind of aids my point, where people interact and work together when they need to, not necessarily when they want to, right? Like, you don't... It's very rare that you see characters interacting, again, at least in my opinion, when there's not a specific kind of goal in mind for Natlan. I'm sure...
I feel like Natlan's a character. I mean, like Natlan and the characters are a nation where they'll most likely all hang out together off screen than on screen, right? I feel like
more events will be different, and certain events will be different. But most of the time, there is always a story important, or a dangerous reason to do so. Makes sense because it's the nation of goddamn war. How's it different than Sumeru then? I mean, you always see characters interacting with each other when there's not a huge goal in Sumeru, right? Like
Alhaitham and Kaveh, Sino and Tainari, Sino, Tainari, Kole. They all travel between the region. Dory just fucking tries to scam everyone. No matter who they are.
Plenty of times where we...
And gotta be honest, I think that would definitely help this out, is having more, obviously, Traveler Tales definitely would help this, like, interaction problem thing. But... Because obviously, like, we had Sino and Tainari talking to each other a lot. Dory and fucking Sayu talking to each other a lot. So... I feel like Traveler Tales definitely help this out, like making the world obviously feel more alive and having characters that you never knew would interact, like Mizuki and Layla interacting. Like, I would have never have seen that coming until I did the Traveler Tales. So, if you haven't done the Traveler Tales, make sure when they become a permanent feature, you do them all, because you see some interactions that you would never see otherwise.
Just walk into a tavern and see like Kole,
which is awesome to see.
Sino, Tainari, and everyone's like sat around a table drinking and stuff.
Oh my god, Alhaitham's with Alhaitham's bro. Alhaitham's trailer is still one of my favorite trailers ever. Like, oh my god, his trailer is so good. Like, Alhaitham's trailer is still in my top 3 of all time. Like, it's so good, bro. I just love the connection with all the friends. Like, as like 4 friends, you know, it's just. So nice.
They just hung out as friends and,
and so nice.
Stuff like that as well. I don't know.
One of the best.
Maybe I'm being crazy, but
that Natlan would be an aberration, and that Dawei's tearful speech and commitment to return to Genshin's roots meant that the stuff they were working on for future...
Yeah, Aurora and Aoife have some of the best interactions in the entire Natlan cast. Absolutely, they're so funny.
...regions was going to be a return to form, and Natlan was just a casualty of the time they spent going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And so, Nod-Krai. After Hoyo's unexpected developer discussion stream, where they acknowledged the failures of their storytelling, I was curious what direction they would take. The faction descriptions on the website for the Song of the Welkin Moon sounded promising, but I remained skeptical. The music was ethereal, and the landscapes they showed looked like they would fit the wider themes, but then again, Natlan's music is fantastic, and the landscapes there are gorgeous too. In the 5.8 livestream, we got to see 3 of the upcoming characters. Inefa was the main event, and while many felt she too was a little out of place, to me she is a perfect example of Genshin steampunk vibes and more.
Yeah, I love Inefa's design, bro.
I think that was cool.
Red and blue, and being an actual cape, and all.
And she's also a mix, like she's straight up a mixture of every nation, literally. Like she has Inazuman design, she has like Inazuman parts, she has Mondstadt parts, she has Natlan parts, like Liyue parts, like her calves like of her leg are made from Liyue. Like, I think it's great that
these other aesthetics. I said she looks like the perfect kind of mixture of other nations together, and she's still got that. She's got the futuristic vibe, obviously, for sure, but she has also that Mondstadt vibe, you know, that medieval fantasy vibe at the same time. It's really nice. I like. A lot of people hate the cape, and that's fine. I really like it.
More than anything, she reminds me of the robots from Frontier.
Hey, you see her with the cape for a little bit in her. I was going to say in her quest. I mean in the Arkham quest. I will be honest, the Arkham quest felt like her quest.
Turned into a playable character.
Not a
While
bad
the layered cape does echo some of the design language which has been neglected in Natlan, a playable robot is always going to be an outlier, and I felt that we couldn't really judge the direction based off her alone. We caught a brief glimpse of Einar, Inefa's creator, and she kind of feels similar too. While she does have that Genshin vibe to some extent, she's definitely at the outside edge of what would fit the theme.
She reminds me of her like design, like a jacket and stuff reminds me of a character already in the game, but I don't know which one.
Again, this felt
maybe it's a character in a different
She was
game.
obviously from the Clink Clank Crumpcake craft shop, so it made sense that she would be an extreme end of the spectrum even if they were returning to their roots. But then, at the end of the livestream, they dropped the trailer for Lauma. She is at the fantasy end of the spectrum, and her
oh god, she looks so fucking good, dude. And it's not just about
design screams.
It's not just about the 2 big old, absolutely humongous.
Like, bro, it's very close. I'm pretty sure, like, they're right here, and like, it's just the Jesus Christ.
Beautiful.
You know what I mean?
Antlers.
Hey, her antlers grow really big.
Just the rest of the design.
Her antlers are pretty big.
Layers of flowing fabric, intricate ornamentation.
What the moon at the back?
What the fuck were y'all thinking, freaks? Jesus.
Yeah.
The collars. She's absolutely
I was agreeing with the antlers, bro. Yeah.
Gorgeous and feels like
bigger
exactly
ears.
what I've been missing throughout Natlan. And then they dropped the character teaser trailer, which revealed 7 new character designs, and it really feels like a return to form. As promised, there are many different factions, so as a group, they feel as incohesive as the Natlan cast.
Varka looks just great, dude. He embodies that medieval fantasy I'm here for the moon vibe all too well.
But this time, each of them has a different take on those classic design tropes which were so consistent before Natlan, either marking them as travelers.
And it also makes sense because, like, it's obviously, like, people from everywhere converging in one nation. Like, obviously in Neph's quest, like, we saw people from, like, was it in like Fontaine, Liyue, was it Samaria, pretty sure? Like all like multiple people from multiple nations live in Nod-Krai, which is like very interesting. So it makes sense. Like there's like it'll be like a clash of like elements of the designs and stuff because like people from everywhere coming in.
One of those earlier.
How do people feel about this character's design?
I mean, gotta be honest. I look at her. I look at her design, I look at her short shorts and everything, I'm like, this is just fucking Lucy, like from ZZZ. Oh, like, this is fucking Lucy, bro.
So consistent
that's what I see.
them as traveler from one of those earlier.
How do people feel about this
blonde hair as
character's
well.
design? Can I keep it a buck here? Like, there's only 2 characters that I'm really not that fond of in the whole, like, examples of characters to come. And it's Ino and this character. I don't even know
someone
this
said in the
character's
chat
name.
very ZZZ. I 100% agree.
Like, both of them, I'm just kind of like, I'm just not that much of a fan.
Or at least making them feel like they belong. Jehoda stands out as
Like
a
an Isa, just. Oh, yeah, I think he's with
on
the.
the modern side,
don't worry.
but she fits well with Inefa and Aina.
She does.
Durin looks like a new
I think every character they showed to me looks amazing, but that's obviously going off what I think with art style and character design.
take on the styles of Mondstadt's Church
It looks so good. I like the outfit choice for him, dude.
of Favonius. Flynn's is just perfection, dark
I agree. I agree. Flynn's looks so goddamn good.
and
He-
brooding
yeah,
with
he
flowing
looks
multi-layered
great.
cape and intricate silver work. Nefa is a distillation of the Sumeru Desert's aesthetic.
Yeah.
Nicole looks simply gorgeous. Varka is
Nicole looks probably the best out of all of them, in my opinion, and that's crazy for me to say. I fucking love how Nicole looks, other than maybe Varka. Varka does look sick, dude.
almost exactly how I had imagined him. And then we have
Yeah.
Alice. After loving her more traditional witchy outfit teased in a previous
Yeah, I just didn't expect that would like this would be her witch's hat.
trailer,
I'm gonna guess she loves this new one even more.
unfortunately, her actual design is the biggest disappointment for me. She does
I just the hat like I was so confused with the hat. I'm fine with her like eyes because I think the one thing that showed me first I was like, oh, that's not how I thought her eyes would look. Like, it's just like I just didn't expect a more sharp looking eye. Like, you know, I expected more clear eye for some reason, but I guess it's because the only like Alice design which I've gotten is clear. So I expected a little bit more like cutesy eye, but I mean that eye makes sense for a fucking grown woman. So for a grown, pretty badass woman. So I mean, I will be honest, I'm fine with the design of her like eyes now. But her hat's still just like, bro, I can't even classify it as a fucking hat.
Oh, really? Oh, I really like it, dude.
does have a lot of the classic
The hat
Genshin
just
tropes,
doesn't
so she
100%
very
make
much
sense.
fits in the world, but
Yeah.
she's just not what I had hoped for. She's a collection of all the Genshin design tropes that I don't like, crammed into one design, with the
Really?
mere concept of a hat on her head to top
it's the frame of a hat.
This dude. I love the concept of a hat. But here's the thing.
It's funny. I'd find it funny. I don't hate it, by the way. I just find it funny, and it's just I don't know how to. I like it. It looks cool. I just don't understand it. I don't understand. Why would you wear that?
So here's what I imagine, dude. I imagine, and this is me.
Or maybe it's like a force field that like all here in the blank areas that deflects the UV rays from the sun, and it's like it's an actual hat. It's just it's like a force barrier. She goes boing.
Hoping for too much more than likely. But
And if you're like above her, you just get blasted with this beam of light, bro.
no, Alice is probably hella fucking powerful, right?
True.
I can only imagine there was cloth there. I like to think that in like her elemental burst or something, the hat forms out of flames or something, dude. Like I think that'd be so sick. Imagine, or like when she uses her skill, like Mawika's hair starts flaming. It'd be so cool if the hat forms out of fire or something. That'd look so.
That would
sick.
be quite
off.
cool.
Perhaps her
Yeah.
witch outfit to match with
Her
these
hair
will
just catches on fire. Oh shit.
be a
And then afterwards, the rest of the outfit gets engulfed in fire, and then it all disappears, and then.
What?
theme for
Excuse
later
me?
on. In terms of theme, every last one of them feels like they belong in a fantasy steampunk world.
Hey,
and
yo.
in terms of
Jesus
visuals,
Christ, bro. Hey.
every last one of them feels like they belong in a fantasy steampunk world. And
My face gets covering
There's
it.
a lot of characters that have great designs. I heard apparently, isn't this name of this character about something about fertility as well? I saw somebody
Wait.
kind of
No,
theorize
there's no
that
way.
this character is meant to resemble fertility, so they made her hips and boobs bigger.
in terms of visuals, they have the overlayered clothes, the strips of
Hey, keep me lore accurate, bro. I'm about it.
England fabric, the detached
David,
sleeves,
based,
capes,
I guess,
embellishments,
absolute
and trinkets
based.
hanging everywhere.
So
the color
good.
schemes look right, the voice acting is great, and something about the way they act makes me suspect they'll dial back the cartoonish animations.
Why does
Something
I'm so
about-
like her design is so blue.
It's
I-
hanging everywhere.
Like I'm
So
just like
Color
her
schemes
design
look
is so
right, the
blue,
voice
like
acting
I
is
guess like
great,
a
and
violet in a way. I Green Vision just clashes so much.
Something about the way they act makes me suspect they'll dial back the cartoonish animations.
I'm very curious what her
throwing
attacks
It
pattern.
feels like we're becoming serious again, which is weird to say because a lot of Netland stuff was kind of unserious vibes, right? Especially with the Water Tribe always being so. I say always.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I thought the vibes of Natlan were very serious to begin with, especially with the war and everything and the Ore conquests. But there's a lot of carefree people in Natlan as well, of course. I feel like with Nod-Krai, we're probably just not going to see too much, playfulness or carefreeness. I feel like it's just going to be a pretty serious fucking...
Definitely since there's war against the Fatui and the Wild Hunts, and we're going to be going to clashes with them. They're very powerful figures in Nod-Krai that could pose a existential threat to Teyvat as a whole, right? So it's definitely, and plus it's about the moon and like something happening with the moon and stuff, right? So yeah.
But I thought that about
get some serious
I
wars.
don't know, bro.
Who knows? Maybe we might see freaking Columbina start going. She just starts dancing, bro. She just starts like busting out some moves, and so it's like rips off her like bandage on her like eye. I don't know, like the veil on her eye. It's just like, you know, complete personality change.
I was do too much, but I hope that's the
She freaking takes some steroids and becomes absolutely buff as well.
case. I hope that's
Sandrone
the
and
case.
Columbina.
Who knows?
It's clear why we are all so excited.
Yeah.
And
The whole
finally,
fantasy world.
a couple of days ago, they released Inefa's trailer. I have not watched it. Her and Aino are two of the characters I was least interested in out of the Nod-Krai cast, based on designs alone, and
Fair.
I need to save my primo.
This scene here is fucking amazing, by the way. Absolutely.
Oh, you're not watching it? Wait, is she saying she doesn't want to watch it in case she likes the character?
Amazing. Do you want to know why? So now we know Inefa was spoiler alerts, by the way. Spoilers alert. Was one of the original Dragon Lords, right? It kind of got spoiled in the live stream anyway.
Yeah. Don't know why the fuck they did that. I'm sorry, Hoyoverse. What's with you guys and spoiling the most important things and saying it directly, like, in plain English? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, I just can't even describe how, like, disappointed I am with that. Like, it just doesn't make fucking sense. Oh yeah, let me say the biggest lore drop in the Arkham Quest right here, right now. The main thing, the main plot point. I just say it in the story in this special program. Oh, like okay.
But obviously, in Natlan, we learned that Nibelung was one of the
I
people,
hate spoilers,
one of the things that kind of broke the.
I know you can say don't watch the special program. I was like, bro, it just doesn't make sense why they would spoil that much.
The outside world first. We
No,
also
something that big.
now realized and know from Inefa's weapon description that Nibelung was the one that put the 3 moons in the sky. It was confirmed in the.
Oh wait, was it actually confirmed?
Purchasable weapon. It's not.
Oh wait, oh shit, really? Wait, that's actually insane. I haven't read a weapon description. Wait, Nibelung actually put the 3 moons in the sky. Wait, that's actually crazy. I need to read her weapon description.
Sky. It was confirmed in the purchasable weapon. It's not confirmed anywhere else in game yet, but it is confirmed in the weapon description, which is
Okay. I'm not sure. I can't find it, but yeah.
is pretty insane.
That's interesting.
Insane lore drop. But these lights that are hanging down here is literally just lights from a ceiling, and we're getting the bird's eye view. It literally is meant to resemble the 3 moons, and it is so fucking cool, dude. Not yet, but I am definitely of the mind, and I said this before, people can disagree with this if they like, but you're not going to change my mind on it, that's for fucking sure. I feel like super lore important information like this, like Nibelung putting the 3 moons in the sky, especially when we're going into the nation about moons, and moon lore should actually be explained and to the player in the main quest before it's put anywhere else, especially in a paid weapon description that you can only read in game if you buy the weapon. I feel like that's just not a very good move when we're moving on to a nation.
Wait, is it only when you buy the weapon?
Clear up plot holes, and this is one of the biggest lore points about said nation. But that's just my opinion.
Gems, so I have to keep my distance.
Look at
and
it
wait
at the
for a
end of this
rerun.
video.
From
That's
what
fair.
I've heard, the trailer is fantastic, and the pair of them are just heartbreakingly adorable. And
Yeah.
even though it's just a couple of minutes long, it has at least come close to convincing people who were skeptical to pull for them already. I love robots, but I can't afford for them to suck me in, so this one will have to wait. It's still very early
That's fair,
days for
that's
Nod-Krai, but once again, I can't help but compare to how I felt this time last year. After Fontaine, I was so ready for the next region, but even though I loved dinosaurs and thought the Saurians looked great, something about the early Notland trailers left me unexcited.
Bro, me too. Do you want to know what it is? And this is what it was for me anyway. The information that we knew about Natland is that
To me, it's gonna be what I said before
about Natland. So when we started getting drip-fed information, we'd never seen a Natlanian before, right? We started getting drip-fed information from Nouvelet, which was it's the land of dragons, a war-torn nation, the nation of war. And then the first teaser that we got was the Saurians, and it looked really cute and bubbly and colorful and stuff, and it was like, oh, this is not what I expected. So I think that's where a lot of people's initial disappointment came from, at least mine.
Like, when you think of war, you think of, like, World War One or World War Two, you know, type thing.
It grew on me a lot as a whole, but I think overall, it's
Like
definitely
a battleground.
I think for me personally, this is definitely a personal preference thing. For the story, it's my second favorite nation. Close to first just because of the lore drops that we got, right? But if we're taking into consideration presentation as well as lore, then Fontaine still trumps it for me personally. The second thing is, as an overall nation, it's probably my third favorite. I think I preferred Fontaine and Sumeru overall more if we're encompassing everything from the story to exploration to things that we could actually do and find in the open world. And I still think, this is a very hot take I discovered, I still think Inazuma has the best puzzles in the entire game, and they will never top it ever again.
I will be honest, I
think
can't.
Inazuma's puzzles were the most fun.
And that
they were
because
the
I don't
hardest
do
and most
puzzles
fun.
in the game.
Nod-Krai is just as varied, just as eclectic, and yet there are already so many characters who feel so fitting in the world, and even the more out there designs feel just about within the bounds of verisimilitude. Obviously, we cannot judge until we've encountered them in-game, and so much of their success will depend on whether Hoyo have managed to fix their storytelling problems, and also how successful any fresh new gameplay feels. But for the first time in a long while, it feels like they're moving in the right direction. I can't wait to see more.
I agree.
Until
I
next
cannot
time.
wait for
I do
Nod-Krai.
think
It comes out.
I agree with
can't
a
wait.
large majority of that video, actually. Let me link it to y'all. I think they are moving in the right direction. A lot of people do doubt it, as said in chat right now. A lot of people are kind of doubting the fact that they will follow through on what they've said. I've always had faith that they would do stuff in the past, and whether or not it's been like a misguided faith, sometimes it has, sometimes it hasn't. I still will go into Nod-Krai with a lot of hope and faith. I like to believe, but I do feel like the first 6.0 patch will be a telltale sign on how.
I think we all know what the Starter 6.0 is going to start off with, right? We all know what it's going to start with. It's going to be, we start in Natland, we say goodbye to everyone, we travel with Inefa to Nod-Krai, and we meet Varka at the flagship tavern. Boom, done, said. That's literally how it's going to start off. And we all know that from if you've done the Arkham Quest.
The rest of that region is going to go, so I hope they nail it.
That's how it's going to start.
I really do think they could.
I'd be surprised if it doesn't. Like, I will be surprised if it doesn't. But yeah, that's this video. Make sure you go to both of these videos, like them, and just have them on in the background to give them the watch time. Both of them, Brand and Sarunus. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry, but yeah, that is gonna be the end of this video. Hope everyone did enjoy, and yeah, I'm very curious what they're gonna do with Natland. I mean, Nod-Krai, fuck's sake. And yeah, I'll be doing the summer event story soon as well. Which, god damn it, the first part goes for 3 hours. I'm curious how long the whole event goes for. But yeah, peace.